Welcome into this Wednesday edition, Blue Sky Live. We're here with you this morning. Parham and Neal McCready, Ole Miss basketball faltering at the Pavilion last night, falling to the Auburn Tigers. Now 11-8 overall, 3-3 in the SEC, with presumably a game in Kentucky on Saturday. Weather potentially creating an issue all across the SEC. Neal and I just discussing that a few minutes ago. Before we got started, we'll discuss that. And then last night at midnight was the deadline for schools to enter players into the NCAA transfer portal. It is now closed, so we'll discuss what that means for Ole Miss and others as we move forward. All that and more coming up today on a show brought to you by Blue Sky locations all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi as well. They take care of you, maybe even through your travels. You're trying to get where you're going this weekend. A lot of ice, a lot of snow, a lot of stuff around Mississippi. So check out Sweet Daddy's. You can get ribs, get pulled pork, get tons of options there, just wrapped up, ready to go for you with Blue Sky options throughout the state. And again, Neal is in the Clark Ford studio.
I am Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote. Within 15 minutes in business hours, it's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. Corey and the people at Clark Ford really want to develop a long-term relationship with you. They want to be your car guy, your truck guy. So make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Yeah, you and I just talking about it. I kind of. Well, I didn't kind of. I made an error yesterday. It did not really hit me that we were already in the Snowmageddon phase of Lafayette County with the bread and the ice and the milk and the meat. That was one that was kind of unexpected. A zoo yesterday at supermarkets, grocery stores throughout Oxford. It was a bit of Thunderdome as we were getting going, and I talked to a couple other places as well. And yeah, all ground beef, all protein, pretty much. Period, as well as the meat, the eggs, the bread, the milk, all gone yesterday. So if you're looking forward to getting that, you might be looking at maybe Blue Skies and gas stations for some of your milk options as the trucks try to come in today and tomorrow. It's already been raided here in Lafayette County.
Yeah, the forecast has changed a lot just in the last – frankly, it changed a lot from the last time I looked at it last night at 1 a.m. to when I woke up this morning. Looks like more ice, less snow, more probably good news for people in the central part of the state. Probably not great news for where we live, but there's a guy in Alabama named James Spann who's a legend. He's excellent. Yeah. Phenomenal at what he does, and he said this morning that you really can't make a truly forecastable forecast until this time tomorrow. So it might be wise to, obviously it is wise to be prepared. It might be a little premature to completely panic.
Well, panic happens at any mention of ice, snow, solid precipitation of any manner here. But yeah, you are correct as you say that. So what are we looking at as of right now? I mean, I get you just said we won't know till tomorrow, but you said it's changed some. So as of 8:15, what is the best guess?
I think right now it's the ice that's the issue. I don't think there's much snow in the current forecast as opposed to this time a day ago. There was a lot of snow in the forecast here. The snow projected up north, and there's a lot of it. You and I were talking about the
potential issues.
The games for Saturday. I mean, I don't know the entire slate.
I'll pull it up when we're talking.
I know that Ole Miss plays at Kentucky, and getting to Lexington on Friday is not going to be a problem. Getting out of Lexington, if the current forecast holds, is absolutely going to be problematic. I know LSU plays at Arkansas. I saw that one. Part of my initial plan for the weekend involved getting a vehicle back to my son who's in Fayetteville. LSU is not going to have a hard time getting into Fayetteville on Friday. They're going to have if the forecast is accurate in Northwest Arkansas, they're going to have an incredibly difficult time getting out of there. I think that game is a night game. They're going to have a really hard time getting out of there on Saturday night. So I'm sure these are things that the league is starting to look at today, and I'm sure they looked at it before today, but I'm sure they're starting to really tackle these things, and I don't know the answers. I was planning to go to Lexington, and so I'm trying to kind of reevaluate what I'm doing. I don't want to get stuck there for a couple of days, and then obviously I'm taking a vehicle to my son, so I've got to get back to Northwest Arkansas to get the rental that he's in, and I don't want to get stuck there either. So we'll see.
It's still kind of Dallas to Atlanta. Is that the range as an affected area overall that we're looking at?
I mean, it's basically the whole country. I mean, Dallas to Atlanta is the ice range, but
yeah, I see Will in our stream saying I'm in Dallas preparing for 1+ inches of ice.
Yeah, I mean, I think now it appears they're moving some of that a little north. I haven't paid attention to Texas yet. I've been basically looking at 3 locations for the last 3 days. I've been looking at here, Lexington,
Fayetteville, and Lexington.
Yeah, I've watched those 3 places.
So
I think Nashville get heavy snow, heavy snow. But again, the forecast changed in 12 hours, and I'm not a weatherman, but I'm smart enough to trust James Spann. And when he says it's tomorrow morning before you can really take an action forecast, I'm going to take his word for it.
So Saturday, here's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Ole Miss at Kentucky. That one absolutely could be a problem for Ole Miss getting back home on Saturday. There's no doubt about that. Game will be over 1:15-ish Central.
Yeah, and if you look at temperatures, and again, that's an area that's equipped for ice and snow, but they're expected to get another dose of it on Sunday, and the temperatures there, like the high is 15-ish. So I don't know, how difficult is it to get a team out? I doubt if Ole Miss wants to get stuck there till Monday or Tuesday either.
Georgia at Texas. So you got whatever that could be on Saturday. Trying to get back to Athens from Austin.
Yep.
You got Oklahoma, Missouri. They're probably okay.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to what Missouri looks like.
South Carolina's at A&M.
It's potentially problematic. Houston is expecting possibly some ice, that area. I don't know about Columbia getting back. I've been pretty focused on 3 locales.
Auburn at Florida, Vanderbilt at Mississippi State, Tennessee at Alabama.
I mean, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State's a potential problem. Tennessee at Alabama is a potential problem. James Spann was saying this morning that, ice in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham is very much on the menu.
And then you mentioned at LSU, Arkansas, that is at 7:30 on the SEC Network. It's a 7:30 tip.
Yes, I mean, you're talking about for LSU getting out of the arena a little after 10. It's if the forecast that is currently in place for Northwest Arkansas Saturday night comes to fruition, they're going to have a really difficult time getting from the U of A campus to the airport north of Bentonville.
That Vanderbilt Mississippi State game starts at 5. So yeah, very much in play for weather issues there with that. Before I retrace my steps back to Auburn and Ole Miss last night, your games tonight around the SEC. Texas is at that Kentucky team. Again, Kentucky with 2 home games this week. They Oh, yeah. Jeffrey, thanks. Yeah, send me an email. I'll help you out there best I can. Texas at Kentucky, 6.5-point favorite for Kentucky against the Longhorns at home. And then Mississippi State is in College Station. Texas A&M 4-1 under Bucky McMillan. 8.5-point favorites against the Bulldogs in College Station. So last night, we'll go over the rest of the games later in the show, but Ole Miss Auburn 78-66. And the scoreboard showed a game that was close in points, competitive in points, but it never felt like Ole Miss was a real threat to Auburn last night, in my opinion. You were there. I was not, but I'm watching on television. You had a lengthy, thorough, comprehensive game story up, Rebels 24/7. People can check that out. But it's pretty obvious that Chris Beard was frustrated by effort. He gave a very good answer to one of your questions regarding that. Ole Miss last night just destroyed on the boards, 42-26. Destroyed points in the paint, 38-14 last night. I think Auburn had 8 or 9 rebounds before Ole Miss had 1 in the game, if I have that right, last night at some point early on. And then you look at what Ole Miss should be getting out of any kind of big at all, and it was next to nothing. I think you had a stat in there where two or three players combined for like 26 minutes and 2 boards or something. They just absolutely did not give the necessary effort to make that a competitive basketball game in the paint last night.
Yeah, the stat that stuck out, I was sitting there in the press room waiting for Auburn to get there first, and I was just kind of looking at the stat sheet, and it was unbelievable. I first saw points in paint. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad. And so I started breaking that down, and Malik Dia, James Scott, and Augusto Casilla played a combined 41 minutes. So 41 minutes where at least one of them was on the floor. Those 3 combined for 2 points and 3 rebounds. 2 points and 3 rebounds.
41 minutes.
The fact that wasn't a blowout is a testament to
Travis Perry.
Travis Perry was very good. Patton Pinkins was very good. I thought AJ played really hard. He missed some shots, but you can't question his effort. They were sloppy in spots. Their passing in the open court was bad, but they only had 6 turnovers. If you'd told Chris Beard before the game you're going to turn it over 6 times, I think he would have told you, we got a hell of a shot.
Pretty good.
But you can't lose like that in the paint against an Auburn team that I know the initial thing with people is to look at that and go, my God, at the free throw discrepancy. And it was stark. But a credit to Chris, because I agreed with him completely when he said it. At no point in that game did I go, man, this is really unbalanced whistle.
12 of 15 for Ole Miss, 32 of 39 for Auburn.
I mean, did officials miss calls? Of course, they're going to miss calls. I mean, but I didn't think it was an unfair whistle. I just never did. Thought never crossed my mind that, hey, this is a crew that's favoring Auburn. I just don't think you could support that. And Chris walked in and said that right away. You know, he said, I'll go back and look at the film, but with the naked eye, I had no issue with the officiating. That's effort. That's what that is. And on January the 20th, when you're questioning effort in an SEC game against Auburn, a team that's beat you at that point 9 straight times, that's going to lead to some soul searching, I think. I'm kind of stunned. There was some body language issues, I thought, with a couple of guys. And then give Auburn credit now. They played really hard. I thought it was a great environment. There were a couple of threads on the board that were questioning the environment. I thought the environment was terrific. The students were there. They were loud. It was a good crowd it was a good crowd, period. You don't have to put any qualifiers on it. It was loud. They tried to get loud. They were begging for the team to give them a reason. And like with 3 minutes left, they cut it to 3. And to Hyde Pettiford, give him credit, man. He just made a big time bucket. And he got fouled. Cameron fouled him. It put him up 6, and that was kind of that. But when your bigs don't give you any more than that, you have no margin at all for any error, and that's just not how you win. You don't win in this league when you give yourself this little sliver of a path. It just doesn't work, and it had to be incredibly frustrating for Chris. I mean, this is the guy. I told you this before. I'll say it out loud. He is the most detail-oriented, thorough coach I've ever covered. I'm not sure I've ever been around one that's more. He's Saban-ish in terms of his complete approach. He's probably similar to Bianco. I've not covered Mike as a beat writer except for the 2008 season, and back then we were covering so much stuff that I don't even remember. He's incredibly detail-oriented. And he puts a lot of emphasis into what can you do to create the best environment. And last night they got kind of the environment that they're shooting for. The kids were there. The students were there in mass. They were loud. They put their shirts on, the whole deal, and they were loud. But it was the Auburn kids that responded to it, not for the most part the Ole Miss guys. That's a thing. Like that's a thing, like in your gut thing. And that has to be maddening to him. I've obviously had the opportunity to spend some time with him this year because I've been on the road with them a good bit. Not with them, but I've gone on the road and I've had some one-on-ones and we've had some time to talk off the record. And I mean, that guy doesn't have a fire issue, I promise you. There's no lack of this with Chris Beard. No, not even a little bit. I bet he didn't sleep a wink last night, and not from like anger, but probably I would guess bewilderment. It's probably something he can't relate to. That you wouldn't play harder than that. Not play well. I mean, look, basketball is a make or miss game. I mean, that's a fact, I mean, it's like in baseball. I mean, sometimes really good hitters, if the pitcher's just dealing, they look like they're checked out, and they're not. They just you don't have a chance. And there's games in basketball where the shots just don't fall. That happens. Kind of happened to Auburn a little bit last night. They had some really good looks that just didn't fall. And Stephen Pearl, to his credit, said as much. It's going to happen. You're going to get open looks when you go. One of their guys went 0 for 5 from 3, I think, and 4 of those looks were just wide open, clean looks, and he missed them. Happens. But the effort stuff, the physicality, that's stuff that you have to count on at this level. You have to just assume that you're going to check those boxes. And when you don't, especially coming off a 3-game win streak with the chance to kind of make a statement, I mean, this is where people do. I'm being long-winded. I apologize. This is where people do the, oh boy, I bet today's practice is going to be paint coming off the walls. I bet it's not. I bet today's about having some conversations. What are you doing? I mean, what do you want? I mean, it's one thing. I get it sometimes, honestly, December the 2nd or something, and you're playing. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'll just make up a school, Kansas A&M Tech And they come in and there's 1,400 people in the building. I get it. I get how you can kind of be flat. That was Auburn, and that was a nice crowd. 8 o'clock. Place was kind of ready to jump. The Auburn kids talked about it. Tahad Pettiford talked about how it was exciting. The Ole Miss students were chirping. Stephen Pearl talked about it in a complimentary way. They weren't talking trash. They were just saying, hey, the students were rowdy. I don't remember exactly what Pearl said, but something along the lines of the students were amped or rowdy or something. He meant it complimentary. And they responded to it. That's got to be baffling a little bit.
Look, they played the exact game script they couldn't win, and like you said, you got students back, you got a crowd, you got back in it, you got all these things, and yet here you are. I mean, they're never going to win when they slow down pace. They settle for a bunch of mid-range jumpers. They settle for a bunch of threes. They don't get downhill at all, and then you got those stats. I mean, it's not a complicated thing. Like you said, it's how you end up with the conversations as mentioned. So 3-3,
Yeah.
Kentucky now, and this starting that was the one, and that felt so important because of what is coming. I mean, there is a hell of a stretch that is very difficult and complicated for the Rebels in these next 5 or 6 games. It is a bear moving forward.
It's a bear the whole way.
Yeah.
I mean, the leagues doesn't have bad teams. Mississippi State's not a bad team. South Carolina's not a bad team. LSU is not a bad team. I've watched these teams. I've made it a point to watch everybody. There are no bad teams. There's no team in the league, not one, Chase, that you look at and you go, they suck. They're done. There's no chance. Nope. So you have to bring effort every night. And you still will lose games. But you can't Keyshawn Murphy, to his credit, man, former Mississippi State player, he wanted it last night, admitted it later, said, hey, this game means something to me. That was a rival at my old school. I told the guys on the team I wanted this. I got no issue with that at all. You get out efforted. You're going to get beat. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you just play a team and you get beat. I mean, we see that in the league all the time. I mean, sometimes you go like on the road in this league. Like I think it was Arkansas went to Auburn, and Auburn just played lights out, and the crowd got crazy and amped. And Arkansas is a good team. They'll make the tournament for sure. And they got whacked. Vanderbilt's a good team. They went to Arkansas last night, got whacked. It happens. But it can't be because you don't play hard. And again, we're not talking about everybody. Let's be clear. That was what led to the question. I can't remember which reporter asked about Zach Day. I wish I could. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired and I can't recall exactly who it was. It was a good question. Because Zach Day, who's a 6'5", in today's era, Chase, I don't even know what's a walk-on anymore. I guess there are no walk-on. I don't know.
But I know what you mean.
In a previous era, and I mean this with no disrespect whatsoever. In fact, I mean it with great admiration because I really kind of admire guys like this. Because you go as a guy like Zach Day and you go to an SEC school, you know that your opportunities are going to be limited. You could go, Zach Day could go to a Division II school and probably be a stud. You know what I mean? Play 36 minutes, get 20 points. Probably have a lot of fun, frankly. But he wants to play at this level and challenge himself, and maybe he wants to win the coaching or something one day. I don't know. It's a story, frankly, that I should probably do. And I will, now that I'm making a mental list. But he's outmatched physically against Auburn's bigs. There's nothing you can do in the morning to make yourself 6'10" when you're 6'5". There's nothing you can do. And he played really hard And in those minutes that he was in the game, Ole Miss made a run. It was him and A.J. Storr and Patton Pinkins and Travis Perry and maybe Keza. Maybe it was Elias. I'm not sure. But it was that they went small, and he was basically the big at 6'5". They list him at 6'5". He's probably 6'4". And he played really hard. And so what led to the question was, I said, I don't remember exactly how I said it, but I said, Chris, you mentioned Zach. Obviously, there's nothing he can do to become 16.
Your question verbatim was, Chris, how frustrating is it that you get that kind of effort from Zach, who can't do anything about the fact he's not 6'10", 6'11", but you can't get that kind of effort from Malik and James. 28 minutes combined, 2 points, 2 boards.
And I think it was not patting myself on the back at all. I didn't think it was. I appreciate the people who praised the question. But I could tell when I asked it that I'd
found it. Yeah.
That was, bingo. And Chris, to his credit, gave himself a moment and gave a profound answer. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but it was
I think this is it. Never been a coach to throw the players under the bus, but always have been a coach to tell the truth. Tonight we got out-coached, but on the other hand, I don't know. We keep saying this is professional basketball in a lot of ways. What will come with that over time, sooner than later, is players will have to answer questions that maybe they haven't answered in the past. We just had a lot of guys out there not playing at their most competitive, physical, potential talent game, and it's disappointing. That's what I have.
Yeah.
I'm reading from Ben Garrett, by the way, who transcribed that because he led with Neil asking the question. So,
yeah. I mean,
that was it.
It was, it was kind of the lead question in there brought Zach Day into the conversation. And if you could have gotten Zach Day's effort from the other three bigs, it might have been a different ballgame. Mm-hmm. And that's got to be maddening. I mean, I haven't coached basketball since Upward, where I got scolded for running a zone.
Jesus hates the zone.
Jesus hates the zone. I think if I coached at that level, especially if I were someone like Chris Beard, who got Texas Tech to Monday night into overtime against Virginia, I think that would not rest well on my constitution.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue on in a second. First, you don't have to let big wireless and your overpriced phone bills suck the joy out of the holidays, because right now all Mint Mobile's unlimited plans are 50% off. You can get 3, 6, or 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. It's their best deal of the year. It makes it real easy for you to give your expensive wireless bill the Scrooge treatment. Mint Mobile's best deal of the year is happening right now. They come with high-speed data and limited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You can bring your current phone number over to Mint. No contracts, no nonsense. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/MPW. That's mintmobile.com/MPW. Limited time offer. Upfront payment $45 for 3 months or $90 for 6 months. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, those areas, call Southern 662-429-4429. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered. Proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016, Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention that you heard about them on Rebels 24/7 or MPW Digital. You get 50% off your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. We're brought to you by ENT Physicians of North Mississippi. As the largest private ENT practice in the state. Their goal is simple: delivering fast, expert, comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs. With same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team offering a full range of services from hearing aids and custom hearing protection to potential surgical options, ENT physicians of North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care. They now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. You can get more details at entnorthmississippi.com, or you can call 662-844-6513. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or you prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That is nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected, stay local. And podcast brought to you by NewAlbanyPharmacy.com. New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions, 140 Fairfield Drive. They're in Union County, 662-539-7777. Wide range of gifts for all ages, home decor, jewelry, and much more. Tell them you heard about them from MPW Digital. 15% off any non-medical purchase. I heard this from somebody earlier today, and I see Football Scoop now talking about it as well. Pete Golding adding Todd Cooley to the coaching staff at Ole Miss. He's the head coach at Delta State currently, so stepping down from the Statesman to join Golding's staff. He has been an offensive coach throughout his career. He went to Arkansas Tech. He has compiled an 82-49 record there at Delta State. Been the head coach since 2013. He's made the playoffs 4 times. They kind of got screwed out of it this year. They had a team schedule another team and kind of do some funny business with it there. But his past stops have been Arkansas Tech, Northeastern State, Ouachita Baptist, Arkansas Tech, again, Central Arkansas, Northwestern State, and Delta State since 2013. So I do not know a capacity at this moment, but that is what I'm seeing and hearing. Somebody told me that in the middle of the night, and then I see Football Scoop is saying it this morning. So little news there as we move forward.
I think the thing that always sticks out when I see that, Pete's now done this with a handful of people, surrounding himself with people who've been head coaches. No, they haven't been head coaches at the SEC level, although he does have a guy on the staff who's been a head coach in the NFL level. I think when you surround yourself with people who have had to lead the organization, it does give you some sounding boards. Pete's been a head coach for 3 games. So there is going to be a learning curve, as there would be for anyone as a first-time head coach. So this will be, the first time he's gone through a spring, an off-season as a head coach, first time he's gone through a summer as a head coach, first time he's gone into a season opener as a head coach. And so I think anytime that you have the intellectual capacity and the wherewithal to surround yourself with people that are more experienced in those levels than you are, and you are smart enough to listen to them and sponge from them, that's usually a pretty good indication. I mean, I think this applies well past sports. I think it's in politics. I think it's in lots of things. Business. When you see people looking to surround themselves with people who, and when I say smarter, I don't mean like if they took an IQ test. I don't really mean that. With people who are more experienced and potentially smarter than you are in certain things right now, that's usually a sign of imminent success, I've discovered.
Well, of course, you find your deficiencies,
But not everybody
and
will.
you fix
Not
them.
everybody will do that because some people. I mean,
The ego
I mean,
is involved.
yeah.
I
And I
have to
mean,
be the
that was.
smartest person. I can't be threatened by so and so and so and so. Can't
I
do
mean,
that.
I think.
don't know.
I don't mean this as a knock on him at all. I think that was part of the downfall for Hugh Freeze. Was he was reluctant to surround himself with people who may be even more qualified than he. I think it was a problem for Houston Nutt. So it's a lot of people. You can go into politics. I mean, this isn't a right-left thing at all. There are a lot of people who believe that Ronald Reagan in his second term was mentally diminished and was able to basically hide it, if you will, because he was surrounded himself with really bright people. I'm sure that is applicable in the business world too, but I was asked a mailbag question today about give Pete a grade so far, and I said A+. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, I guess he could have beaten Miami, but in terms of how he's done since midday November the 30th or December the 1st, whenever that was, I don't know how you could give him anything other than a big A with one of those big gold stars that the teachers would put on your paper. I mean, he's kind of checked every single box.
Yeah, a couple things on that. First, Kyle, thanks for the Venmo. Sorry, I meant to get to you a second ago. He said looking for book recommendations in case we get iced in, true crime or history. Well, I think we might have a good bit of time. You might can grab one of the longer things because it's possible you're going to be stuck for a few days. I know you're in Alabama. My favorite, I read a lot of true crime, but then I have to get away from it because it disturbs me. So, like, I can do it in spurts, and then I have to stop for a while. And this is cliche because it's probably known as the best one of all time. But if you've never read The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, it's the Ted Bundy book because she knew Ted Bundy. They worked at a call center together, and she was a renowned true crime journalist prior to her book career, where she became the most well-known true crime writer of all time. But it is unnerving. It is intimate. It's fantastic in every way if you're into that genre. But yeah, Stranger Beside Me. In general, I like Catherine Casey's books more than Anne Rule in the true crime genre. If you're just grabbing one of those, if you're really deep in history, I know Neil and I have both read some of these, like Ron Chernow's books on Hamilton and Washington. The President's Club is an awesome one. I know Neil mentions it a lot. He and I have both read that book. The Devil in the White City is really good by Eric Larson. It's about the 1893 World Fair going on with a serial killer involved during it.
Stephen King's 11/22/63, I think, is one of the best books ever written.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Not the miniseries. Read the book.
The book. Yes.
Phenomenal. And I'm not a big Stephen King guy. And it's just outstanding. There's a book called The Kite Runner. I can't remember who wrote it. He's got a Arab name, Khomeini, something like that. I think it's one of the most profound books I've ever read.
This is interesting. I haven't read that. My buddy Robert says in the stream, The Gatekeepers is really good. It's about the chiefs of staff of the presidents.
Oh, yeah, I bet that is good.
One that if you want it, it's not to the level of the ones we're talking about, but we've talked about how much I love campaigns and certain characters. Two around the 2008 campaigns. Game Change is really good. It goes through the Barack, Hillary, John Edwards Democratic side in really detail for 2008. It's fascinating. It's really good. And then in relation to that, I forget the writer, Andrew something, but The Politician, which is the rise and fall of John Edwards, who at one point was sort of known to be one of the saviors of that party and then just come apart. So, yeah, a couple more there as we're moving on. Trinidad Chambliss' case goes before the NCAA appeals committee today. I do not know a timeline on the result of that. I know there is optimism. Again, don't even know what to make of that, but people seem to think that there is at least a chance that he does win the appeal. So, yeah, we'll see. But that's happening today. And then a story I wrote this morning kind of talking about the portal finally closing. Prince Ole Miss went into the portal officially sometime just before midnight last night. He is expected to sign with LSU as early as today. Their last day to add classes and to enroll is tomorrow, I believe, is the way that's set. So I expect movement to come very quickly on that this afternoon, probably to finalize that with Prince Ole Miss. And it closes the book on who Ole Miss can lose from a portal standpoint. You mentioned Pete Golding and getting grades, and the point of what I wrote this morning was that he's got to get Andrew Young. Yes, wrote the book on John Edwards. Thank you, Alan. So you're going to lose players, especially when you have a coach go to another place inside the conference, a place like LSU with a ton of money, a ton of resources, and right now a ton of desire to try to win immediately. You were facing a very difficult situation, and what Pete and Ole Miss did is it's an A+. It ends with TJ Daugherty, who Ole Miss never got an agreement with, and they had already started to struggle to. There is no arbitration, so struggling with what Ole Miss thought he was worth versus what he thought he was worth and how to get there. There's no buyout. There was nothing signed. He simply moved on in the portal. Prince Ole Miss, talk about it. He did re-sign with Ole Miss. LSU is going to owe $550,000. Matt Moscona reporting this morning that LSU just plans to pay it. There's none of the stuff that you see all over the damn internet. It looks like that is a certainty. They're going to send the check. They're going to owe money on Devin Harper. It's a big loss for Ole Miss. He was expected to be a tackle going into next season, but it's not a shock. He's from Shreveport that he's going home. And then Winnie Watkins, who that's been the worst kept secret in America since about mid-October. So that's it. That's the list. And while, sure, some punches landed, as I wrote, it's not perfect, given the bluster, the temerity that was going around throughout the season about Chambliss and about Lacey, and LSU offered William Eccles $2 million on the final day, per multiple sources. It's not that bad. I mean, you look at it. Penn State took 24 players from Iowa State. 15 Washington State players have followed Jimmy Rogers to Iowa State. 4 starters have left already Utah to go with Kyle Whittingham to Michigan at this point. So it is standard, if nothing else, right now. It's not this, oh my God, they've raided the roster. And given all the moving parts that are going with it, Ole Miss is going to end up with about $1 million in buyout compensation. They're getting a buyout on Charlie Weiss. They're getting money from Lane. They're coming out pretty good from an actual resource monetary standpoint. And as we've said and we talked about all week, if you had offered this to Ole Miss that, hey, Lane's going to take that job and you're going to lose Daugherty, Harper, Umad Mielen, and Winnie Watkins, you would have signed that in blood and moved on with your day. Anybody being honest with themselves. So this is a win for Ole Miss as they move forward.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask about the money. Tyler Siskey told me this yesterday, so I'm giving credit. He said, you take the buyout money. No, it doesn't. You can't add it to this year's rev share. This is where you're talking about sort of shell games a little bit. But it is money that you can put into your budget and makes raising next year's rev share that much easier. Now, instead of coming up with $20.5 million, you have to come up with $19.5 million because $1 million's already given to you that you weren't anticipating. I'm sure if people in the financial office at Ole Miss Athletics are listening right now, they're like, well, it's a little more complicated than that. And I fully acknowledge that. But it's not in a way, because people say, oh, well, if you can't raise your cap, it doesn't matter. It's like, hold on a minute. Let's make this brass tacks. If you're going to go buy a car and it costs $30,000 and I go, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 to help with that car. Now, you can't go buy a Lexus for $55,000 instead, but I'm going to make sure you're helped out with that $30,000 and I give you $10,000.
That's still $10,000 you get to spend that wasn't your own money. I mean, it still counts. It just doesn't change your shopping list. There's a difference.
Right. This is all so new that, frankly, I'm sort of jealous of the people that don't do what we do a little bit with this, where they're not as much as in the weeds. We sort of have learned a lot about it that I think it's our job to convey that knowledge to the people who don't cover this or whatever for a living. There's a very natural and completely understandable knee-jerk reaction to say, okay, well, take that $1 million and go buy this and buy that. And it's kind of isn't quite that simple, because you can't just throw it into player acquisition, because you still, at least as of today, you have a rev share limit, and then you have to justify NIL to some degree. So, but it is literally money that you can put towards next year's rev share. So I guess but next year's rev share has the same limit on it. So I don't know. I don't even know.
It's in your bank account. You do whatever the hell you want to with it. It can go pay for a facility. It can go help pay a coach. I mean, I don't know. It's still $1 million. Hell, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw a big party. I mean, I don't know exactly like what Ole Miss will do with the $550,000 from Amon Allen's buyout, but I mean, you can't add it to the rev share and go, okay, well, let's go buy a cornerback or a wide receiver or whatever. It's all kind of really new, and it's I saw where you cited the Cincinnati AD, and I thought I'd read that, and he talks about, we don't know what it's going to look like in 2 years, in 3 years. You just sort of have to roll with it. And right now, I think everybody's kind of in the roll with it phase. And I think Ole Miss checks this box. If you're one of the programs that is trying to be aggressive and yet at the same time not put yourself in a position where you get way over your skis moving forward in terms of your credit card balance, if you will. If you're trying to do that, this is sort of a day-by-day navigation thing. There are programs out there that are really going to be overextended if the rules this year are still the rules next year. They're gambling that the rules next year will be completely different than the rules this year. And in fairness to them, things have moved so quickly that I think if you say, well, that's not going to happen with any degree of certainty, you're just guessing. I mean, it could, but it's a gamble. I mean, you're rolling the dice. You're the guy putting $50,000 on your credit card on the gamble that the Christmas bonus this year is going to be significant. And if it is, you're good. But if it ends up being the Jelly of the Month Club, you're in deep. And so I think Ole Miss is one of the programs that, and I think this is representative of the majority of the SEC, that are being aggressive, but being fiscally responsible. There are some others there are some that are being super conservative, that are keeping their powder dry, I think, for a little while. And then there are some that are just, it's a spending spree, baby.
To the point that I'm not even really sure why. I mean, the optimism going around about Chambliss getting cleared today is like off the charts right now. I mean, I just posted this on the board. You can't get this wrong. So, like, I'm not about to report anything, and I'm not even sure the hearing has happened yet or it's happening right now. But the number of people that are saying basically it's going to happen is a little startling this morning. So
I can't remember when I said this, but I think I'm right, and I wasn't speaking. I wasn't really opining. I mean, I've just heard from people that the NCAA doesn't want to lose a bunch of court cases. Like, the NCAA has to determine what fight's worth fighting. And this is not a criticism of the NCAA. This is just be smart. If you're in the room there, you're like, okay, is this the best one for us to fight? Why not just go, yeah, we're not particularly crazy about the way some stuff got post-dated and whatnot, but we're not going to win here, and he's got a pretty good case. Let's just grant him this
and live to fight another day.
And live to fight one where somebody just goes, hey, you know what? I want a 6th year. Turns out I can make a lot more money doing this than I can doing whatever. I want a 6th year. And when they say, well, what's your case? I don't know. I just want one. That's the one they need to save up and fight so that you don't set a precedent for, you want a 6th year? It's kind of like the Oprah Jeff, right? You get a 6th year.
Their bigger problem. Well, here. This is interesting too, Neil. And again, this is saying if we're right, or if what everything's going around is right, and he does win this appeal. Here's what it does too. At least for the moment, it kicks the can down the road on a bigger precedent in the court system, which is listed in Mars attempting to prove that the NCAA can get tried in state court in every state in the country. Because that's actually the precedent that is more startling for the NCAA, is this lack of diversity jurisdiction thing that says that with Mars and Liston's interpretation, because there's an NCAA member in this state, they are a citizen of that state. That is the bigger precedent as we move forward here. So that is what is startling to me, where if they win, I think that's the part they would be trying to avoid at that point. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. We'll hit it in a second.
You could well be right. As I told someone yesterday when they were asking me about a lot of this, I said, I don't know that I have the background to completely answer some of these legal things. And I don't even think that's me being self-effacing or putting myself down. I think it's literally you're sort of learning on the fly. And in fairness to people like me who are trying to sort of learn on the fly, I think the schools are in the same boat, really. I mean, this is probably well beyond Keith Carter's educational purview. He's probably learning a little bit as he goes. I mean that seriously. But when people like Tom Mars and William Liston, really gifted attorneys, when they're this level of confident, if I'm the NCAA, I'm like, maybe let's wait and fight it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Trinidad's clearly going to be Ole Miss's quarterback. I mean, that's to me, it's not even that. It's not even that bated breath waiting. I mean, it's just what matter it takes to get it done. It's going to happen. I mean, the people who are not and I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I don't know who is or isn't, but anybody who's trying to make this a big dramatic story today. I mean, come on.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I mean, the fact that Ole Miss didn't go. To me, I knew this was coming. Common sense wise, when Ole Miss had DJ Lagway in the building. And look, is DJ Lagway a great college quarterback? Not yet. Might never be. But he's got SEC experience. That's not debatable. And he has talent. That's not debatable either. I mean, I've watched him beat Ole Miss in Gainesville. When Ole Miss just kind of went, go back to Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
It told you two things. One, it told you that he didn't knock their socks off, but it also told you that we're good.
Yeah, we're fine. Be all right. So, all right. Does your home auto insurance keep going up? With the folks at the firm, a proud Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance agency partner, take a look. Find Ole Miss alum Brian Hayden services the entire Southeastern Conference. Let a team of licensed professionals review your insurance needs and put together coverages. Protect you and your family without breaking the bank. Schedule a consultation 662-236-1101 or staff at thefirmsouth.com.
Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones, diamond jewelry, and much, much more. It's great for gifts, Valentine's Day coming up, birthdays, graduation, anniversaries, whatnot. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. We're brought to you by the College Corner. Got all the gear you're looking for. It's awfully cold out with the hoodie, jackets, things of that nature. They've got all of the Ole Miss gear you're looking for, all the colors you want, all the name brands you're looking for, Nike, Horn Legend, Champion, Antigua, just to name a few. They've got a location here in Oxford, just off of Sisk Avenue. They've also got locations in Flowood and Ridgeland, and you can always visit collegecornerstore.com. We're also brought to you by Argent Wealth. Call Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services team today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Argent on the MPW Digital, and you get 10% off of your first year's fees. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John if you're trying to create a special trip that makes a lifetime of unique memories. Give him some parameters, give him a budget, then let him give you some options. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net.
Podcast is brought to you by Chicory Market, chicorymarket.com. Remember, they have their Valentine's Supper Club available. You can order your ticket, your reservation, however you want to say it, where you just show up the day of and you eat. Great 4-course meal. They got a sea bass for the main course. They have an awesome roasted strawberry chocolate dessert for you as well. They've got homemade pasta. Got a lot of stuff going on there at Chicory Market. Again, Heath Johnson and his team is located on North Lamar Midtown Shopping Center. They'll take care of you with excellent service and excellent food. Heath was part of the city grocery team that won the James Beard Award a few years ago. So again, that's Chicory Market, chicorymarket.com. Check out the events page to reserve your seat today. So, yeah. All right, let's see. What are we doing? I want to go back and look. And again, a reminder here on the football thing is, again, portal is closed. All players that are getting in have to be in by now. There's no doubt about that. So you're safe as far as departing players and losing players. I guess the one still out on the vine for Ole Miss is Caden Lee. All signs pointing toward Caden Lee ending up at Missouri, reuniting with Austin Simmons. That's kind of where we are on that. But that's the only player left that there has been any lingering doubt to, and it seems that any return to Ole Miss has dissipated or vanished at this point. Ole Miss has recruited replacements with him. Jonte Cook, probably the best one-for-one example of that from a skill set standpoint and where he played at Syracuse, the former Texas wide receiver as well there with Cook. But that's that deal. Now, you can still add them in two different ways. There's going to be players in the portal that pop up today because they got put in last night in the same way that Imani Ellen did. And then also you're going to have graduate students that you can bring in really at any point, but after the spring semester also. So there's still opportunities. Ole Miss could use some line depth. There's some holes. And I know they, to some level, kept their powder dry to try to do that if necessary as they move forward. So that's kind of where that sits. In the portal situation, Ole Miss currently the number 2 portal. Okay. The actual meeting for Trinidad Chambliss is this afternoon, by the way. So nothing has happened. Nothing has happened yet on that.
Okay.
Just hearing that a second ago. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Football. Oh, Ole Miss is ranked the number 2 portal class in the country right now per 24/7 Sports. And then an interesting number because it's the highest in the portal era for Ole Miss as they are ranked 13th in overall recruiting, which takes into account high school and portal activity. So 13th is the highest that Ole Miss has been since the transfer portal became a thing. So just a little heads up there. We mentioned this a minute ago, I think, in passing with basketball. Let's run through last night a little bit. Arkansas at Bud Walton just drilled the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt was off to that hot start. They're now 3-3 in the SEC after getting beat 93-68 at Bud Walton last night. Arkansas 4-2 in the SEC. Ranked 20th in the country. and they got 10-14 out of Brazil last night, and a hell of an effort all the way around for the Hogs. I think A-Cup's up to like 6 Freshman of the Weeks in a row.
What did they get out of A-Cup last night?
Let's see. They got
he and that Malik Thomas, the 2 freshman guards. They're
34 minutes, 17 points. Yeah, 17 points, 2 turnovers.
What did Malik Thomas do? Out of curiosity.
13 and 5.
Yeah.
And
good.
Carter Knox went for 16.
Yeah.
Brazil 10, A-Cup 17, Thomas 13, Knox 16. Also got 11 off the bench from DJ Wagner.
Oh, yeah. It's a tough league, man. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, Arkansas's gone on the road and lost twice already, and I think they're a Sweet 16 caliber team. I still think Vanderbilt's really good. I've watched them a bunch. For whatever reason, they've kind of gotten into my rotation when they've just kind of worked where I've been doing something and the game's on or whatever, or I'm waiting for Ole Miss to play or whatever the case may be. I've seen them a bunch. I like their team. I think they come to Ole Miss next Saturday. I like them. I like the way they play. The league is such that there's a handful of teams, and I think Arkansas is one of them, that when they play really well, they're going to be a problem. I mean, Florida, Bama, Tennessee. There's just some really good I still really like Vandy. I mean, Vandy and Florida went toe-to-toe last Saturday. Just
I'm
not many.
A message real quick. So go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. Just not many bad teams. I guess I could pull up ESPN real quick. I don't even know who else played last night. I was pretty locked into
Florida, as expected, hammered LSU in Gainesville 79-61. They're up to 5-1 in the SEC, and as we said, really finding itself. And then hell of a basketball game in Como last night. Georgia goes on the road when they needed. Gets it 74-72 against Missouri last night. Millender goes for 18. Missouri now 3-3. Georgia 4-2 in the league. And South Carolina gets that win at home. Oklahoma now 1-5 in the conference, with Ole Miss being the lone win in the opener, 85-76. The Gamecocks over the Sooners, and then the Auburn 78-66 win over Ole Miss.
I mean, I don't know how much SEC basketball we want to talk. What strikes me here is 2 things. One, I really like Georgia's team. I mean, another team that I watch a lot. I'm a little, I don't know if biased is the right word. You cheer for people that you like. I like Mike a lot. Just a great dude. And I like his team. They're fun to watch. I mean, I watched them twice last week. Obviously, I watched them play Ole Miss in that game that Patton Pinkins won with the tip-in at the buzzer. And then I watched them have a roller coaster of a game against Arkansas in Athens, where they built a 20-point lead, lost the lead. I think Arkansas tied the game. And then Georgia showed this resolve to go win when that thing was ready to teeter off the cliff, and that would have been a devastating loss to blow that kind of a lead. And then to go on the road and beat a good Mizzou team. I like what Mike's doing, man. I mean, they're 16-3, 4-2. They're positioning themselves well. And then the other one that strikes me is I remember being in Norman on January the 3rd, and Porter Moser was in the media workroom across the hall from where they do interviews, and his players were in doing interviews, and he was waiting for them to be done. And it was just me and him in there for a little while. And I was like, hey, congratulations. And I could tell that he liked his team. And here they are. What's this? Today's the 18 days later, and they're now 1-5. Probably not a lot of restful nights for him in Norman. I like Porter. He's a really nice guy. It's hard. Winning's hard. I know that's not profound or great journalism, but winning is hard.
All right, so yeah, just trying to get that out in a couple places. Yeah, his thing is this afternoon. Could hear as early as today. Not a guarantee, but it is possible that this is all over today. But yeah, there's just no way with any type of definitive answer that you could say that it's done. It's the NCAA. You never know. I mean, I'm not getting into it, but no, you can't get that.
Well, they're hearing it somewhere. I mean, usually when a side's going to wave the white flag, they tip it off.
Yeah.
It's usually not a total surprise.
I'm just saying from a media standpoint to come out and say it's 100% done. I'm not about to shoot that bullet.
Why would you do that? There's no reason to.
Neil.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, Chase, in the past I've paid very little attention to other media, and after the experience that I've had in the last few days, one of my mid-January resolutions is I'm paying no attention to other media.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a negative and make it positive, and one of the positives is I've gotten off Twitter, and it's been 3 or 4 really refreshing days, if I'm honest.
I'm going to go to the final break in a second. What did Cristobal say? Was he just talking about how hard it is to get back and there's no guarantees? Was that kind of his gist on Monday night after that game?
I don't know. I didn't hear it. I saw where several of their guys got in the portal, as you would expect, including the wide receiver that was so dynamic in the Ole Miss game.
Oh, Tony?
Yeah, I think I saw Ohio State with him. Maybe. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, Tony got in the portal. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I have not seen that. I know there was a lot of buzz about potentially because they've been on Seton a good bit. Miami has, and then there's been some buzz about their left tackle being a portal option for other teams should that come to pass.
In a previous era, literally meaning 2 or 3 years ago, that left tackle would just go pro.
He would, yes. But now it's at least a question. You can get a lot of money, especially left tackle. So, all right, we'll come back in 1 minute. Tell you about the Jackson Graber Group with GMFS Mortgage, local trusted mortgage lender right here in Oxford. Help all home buyers with first home, new construction, refinance. John Graber graduated from Oxford High School, Ole Miss alum, local in-house processing, underwriting, servicing, construction. Wide range of loan options, including conventional, FHA, VA. Also, he is an expert on condo financing, and condo financing a little different. It's always a little bit of a strange situation. So if you need some extra help, he's an expert. He can hook you up. That is gmfsmortgage.com/JGG 662-762-4502.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Have a mailbag up at Rebels 24/7. It's presented by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's, a supporter of all things Ole Miss, and as a damn good guy, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art at Arthur, ARTHUR.Hayes, HAYS at lakesmn.com.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and offer MedSync to fill prescriptions the same time each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So again, 662-236-2222. Yeah, again, just for any clarification, it would be the NCAA ruling him eligible today. Hearing is a little confusing, I get, because there is the court hearings that are possible before February 15th. But yes, no, this is the NCAA Appeals Committee hearing that could release its findings as early as this afternoon. So, yeah, that's where we are. Matt Zenitz saying that Cody Waddell, the tight ends coach, is done for Ole Miss. We talked about that a couple days ago. The Miami tight ends coach, originally from Hernando, played at Troy. Co-OC title, Zenitz says, as part of his that is a compensation package thing as much as anything, but yeah.
Yeah, and a resume line.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Not in a bad way. Just makes sense. If you can make your title, the better your title looks, look, in an ideal world, if you're Pete Golding, in an ideal world, you win big and you begin to produce your own tree. And if you're, you want to join a staff that's going to win so that it gives you a better chance at career advancement yourself. Makes perfect sense. If you surround yourself with,
go ahead.
If you surround yourself, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's I'm not picking on Hugh or Houston here. I'm not. In fact, after the last week, I'd love to make amends with both. But if you surround yourself with people that aren't looking to advance in a field as competitive as college football coaching, you're probably limiting your ceiling.
Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, both going to the Baseball Hall of Fame, getting in both yesterday.
Both incredible players.
Yeah, that's not a shock.
Carlos Beltran's one of the best players who's ever played the game. Andrew Jones in the conversation for best center fielder ever, which is a hell of a conversation to have, because there's a lot of great ones. He was incredible. The end of his career didn't go super, and I think that's one of the reasons that it kind of got knocked off the first ballot conversation. But the impact that he had on kids coming out of Curacao is something I've do and read about. I think he's coaching the Curacao. He's the manager of the Curacao team in the World Baseball Classic.
Oh.
Yeah, but great, phenomenal player. It's really hard to believe those Braves teams only got one. To prove to you, like, winning is hard. Winning championships is really hard. It requires luck. You can't count on luck. It has to come to you.
Well, the one they won, they were the underdog. That Indians team was incredible.
Yeah. That Indians team never won one, and you think about how talented. When you go back and look at that lineup, jeez.
They lost in the World Series in 95 and 97. Lost in the Marlins in 97.
Go read that lineup sometime. It blows you away.
Tomey and Baerga and
Vizquel, Roberto Alomar.
Yeah.
Phew.
That's a good point. Jim Edmonds feels like a Hall of Famer to me, not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'd have to look at his overall numbers.
Showed you a little bit of where the Giants are right now. John Harbaugh had his press conference yesterday, and almost every question revolved around structure and who has final say. It was a very tense opening press conference regarding ownership, GM, coach, and who's buying the groceries, as Bill Parcells used to say.
The Athletic wrote a very detailed, almost TikTok of the negotiations with him, and it was pretty fascinating. What it came down to was that he did not want to report to the GM. He would only take the job if he reported directly to the Maras. So probably some tension in the building because they relented and hired him. And, his initial interview with the Giants went so well that when he got back home, he canceled his interview with the Titans. And within about 24 hours, regretted that because he thought, there was a structural holdup, and that's what held things up. And then when the Giants ultimately said, "Yep, we're cool with this way," he took the job. His dad, Jack Harbaugh, legendary college coach, told John, "You'd be a fool not to take the Giants job." And I think that's one of the reasons that he went that direction.
I know that's a big deal around here about who's calling the shots. Final say, Chris Mara said. Harbaugh doesn't have final say. It's collaborative, and he's the first to admit that. If he has final say with everything in that building, he wouldn't be able to do his job. He's going to be the most important cog in the wheel. Let's put it that way. But in terms of final say, this is going to be a collaborative effort between ownership, GM, and coach. That was Mara's final comment yesterday after a lot of questions regarding that. And yeah, Mike McDaniel, now the OC for the Chargers. I agree with Aubrey. That's a good spot for both. Former Dolphins coach gets to go work with Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, and them trying to get over the hump in San Diego or LA. Sorry, still calling it San Diego, LA. There with the Chargers. So again, NFC, AFC Championship games on Sunday. I'm just monitoring weather a little bit, see if any of this SEC basketball stuff takes flight, moving games or anything going into Saturday as well. We'll have Jeffrey tomorrow. We'll look at some NFL. We'll look at maybe some Chambliss news. We'll see what comes. Again, a lot of optimism around this morning, the hearing tomorrow, and then trying something a little different. We're just going to have a little fun. Rippy and I are going to do a podcast this afternoon, probably around 5:30. May stream it, so I'll give you guys a little heads up if we do that. Just gonna, again, trying to do something different, kind of playing around a little bit. So all that going on. Rebels 24/7 got coverage. Any final portal activity, we had that yesterday. Ole Miss picking up another portal commit yesterday. Comas had that story. Neil's got an incredibly long mailbag up at Rebels 24/7. I've got a thing on Umami Ellen and the LSU Ole Miss situation this morning, and basketball coverage from last night as well. So all that going on, and we will talk to you again very